Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are we getting on? Welcome to a brand new Starfield Outpost build. So, today we are adding an Infirmary medical center type deal onto my ongoing Outpost build, and yeah, this has come out rather well, so let's jump in. Okay, yeah, it turns out there's actually a surprising number of bits and pieces that work really quite well for a medical center infirmary type build. The size is maybe a little bit weird, but on the whole, I'm pretty pleased with this one. So, quick reminder as to where we are. This is our ongoing build on Nesoi, or however we pronounce it, this spot anyway. Pretty good spot for the outpost in general, decent resources, and a fantastic location. So there's the larger Olympus system that we are in over here. Zoom all the way out. We are smack in the middle of the settled systems. All of the major star systems, settlement areas are basically surrounding this point, so it's nice and easy to get anywhere you need to be. So, let's get on with this. Pretty simple structural build, this one, and yeah, kind of works nicely, but as it's clean and crisp is kind of the order of the day, simple works quite well for that. So you can see on the right there, we've got the landing pad and the stairs in the bottom corner, and the gap on the left there between the two sort of buildings. If you imagine a sort of line between those 2 points, that's where I kind of want a path to go across. So I'm avoiding accidentally blocking that space off and carefully working with the spaces either side, which creates a kind of weirdly linear vibe, but in this particular build it works. So we'll start off with the airlock, as this is going to be the farthest forward part of the build, so wherever I put this kind of gives me that marker, which is not going to be quite there. We're going to nudge it a bit further over, as sort of wrapping a little bit around the back of the greenhouse there is going to work quite nicely for this structure. So let's get the positioning sorted out. Want to tweak that angle a little bit. As you can see, it's not quite where I want it to be. And use that hex hab in a second. There we go. Let's get that to drop down. Nice. Get this in before the twist fin causes havoc. Nice. There we go. So the hex hab, the small one there, is going to be our core piece, and then we're going to add bits on, specifically these science hubs, onto the side of it. So there's going to be a ward and an operating room. And we'll grab a hallway in just a moment. Here we go. And tuck that on the side as a bathroom. I've grabbed the science one here because it's a medical one. I thought that would make sense. It's actually really dark in the science hallway. So I basically decided to change it out for a hydroponics one. That actually looks pretty good. It isn't so dingy. So that's the core structure. Now we're just going to get some windows in there. So I'm going to go for a big window on this side, because it's going to be near the reception area. Around the back here, I want this sort of flat one that's up the top there, so that I can get furniture underneath the window inside when I come to decorate. Yeah, coming together all right. Decided to have the ward over this side. Sort of making that decision now, so I'm going to put windows on this, basically because the view's a little bit better. And the operating room's not going to have any windows, so it doesn't need such a nice view, does it? There we go. Sorted. We'll head around the front and head on inside. We'll do a little bit of decoration, because dead simple build there. So this is the small hex hab, and it's pretty expansive, to be honest. The large one I checked out recently is absolutely humongous. But this will be plenty big enough, in fact, technically speaking, for an outpost that, for now at least, is going to be limited to 4 people. This is kind of way too big, really, but hey, it's going to work quite nicely. So, first thing we're going to do is build a kind of reception desk in the middle here. Not going to go through all of the decoration here, because we'll be here for way too long, but you get the general idea of how I approach things here. We're going to double-side these desks, use the 2 opposite ones, push them together to create a larger reception desk that's going to sort of make better use of the space. I did want this centered, but I have slightly screwed up, and it's actually off-center here, so I'll have to adjust this later on. But for now, as I have yet to notice, we'll push on, or at this point in the building. I'm going to carefully line these up, and I'm trying to use the lines on the floor here to make sure everything is, well, lined up, and you'd think that would make it easier. Turns out not so much in this case. Ended up having to just kind of eyeball the gap between the 2 desks and go from that. Turns out that was much easier. You can use the good old Fallout 4 era rug glitch to push things together and make them clip into each other, apparently. I haven't tried it in Starfield. In this case, it's not really going to create the look I want, so I want sort of neat, tidy and clean rather than odd looking. So we're going to enclose these using the office partitions. Just kind of give this a bit more of a complete vibe, standalone kind of, almost like a room, but not here. Here we go. Looking all right. Weird that the collision boxes are slightly different sizes. You'd think they'd be about the same, as it's basically a flipped version of the same item, but apparently not. And I'm going to get these right-angled partitions just on the end to just close this off around the back, complete the look and the structure, for want of a better word. These turned out to be kind of a nightmare to line up. Not because they were resisting or in any way not placing it well, it's just sort of eyeballing the line turned out to be really quite difficult. This one in particular, as you can see. I have dropped the rotation speed on this a long way down so I get more precise placement, and it really helps. If you head into the settings, you can tweak that, but it does take quite a long time, so I don't really want to reduce it any further so I get a bit more kind of precision, but that would work, but it would just take so long to place everything, and it takes quite a while as it is. This is already running at more than double speed, so... But, from this side, weirdly, I was able to get the line better, which makes no logical sense at all, but hey, if it works, right? So I could grab some chairs, decided to go for these ones as the kind of clean, clinical, sci-fi medical vibe. Thought about using the wheels, but the floor's not exactly even, so fixed chairs it is. Or chairs you're going to have to drag, maybe. So we're going to add a few extra bits and pieces here. We'll stick a safe in for general use, because why not? And what we got here? Desk monitors, that's a good idea. One eyes on each side. Useful tip here, when you're placing stuff on surfaces like this, go around the back, as we'll see in a moment, because it looks about right from the front. When you go around the back, you realise it's not in the right place. There we go, that looks better. A bin, yeah, why not? That's a clean one, that looks like an office bin. Just flip that round so the flat surface is against the wall there. Nice. Rug, yeah, that makes it a little more comfortable for whoever's working here. Not exactly cozy, but that's not really the vibe we're going for. A couple of extra bits of decoration there. Gonna grab a data slate stand display thing, drop that in the middle. Not going to do the junk decorating today, as with the rest of this outpost, I'll do it later on, and we'll sort of do a finished walk around when the place is actually finished. But for now, that should do the job. I'm going to show you one more section of the decoration here, because this had a neat little trick here. And that is the sort of seating area, which is way beyond what we actually need for an outpost of this size with this many people in it, but it'll do the job. Chucking those benches down, because they definitely have the right vibe for the reception area of a doctor's office. And I'm just chucking them down firstly, so that I don't have to faff quite so much with the menus. I'm going to use this rug here, because I want these lined up neat and even and fixed in place so that they're all straight. And the edge of the rug is nice and straight there, so I can sort of get this side lined up. And for the back edge of the benches there, I can use the markings on the floor. So that creates a nice look like that. Now we move this over and do the same thing on the other side. So let's try and make sure the gap between the edge of the rug and the door frame is the same, so they're positioned evenly. And we'll start again here. I'm not sure why. Possibly the light, possibly just, you know, life. This side turned out to be considerably more difficult to position everything in. But we got there in the end. Referencing back to the first effort. Make sure that I'm using the same markings on the floor so that everything is just about evenly spaced. Preferably straight. There we go. That looks about right. And get this last one. Just a little bit of a tweak, and there we go. And we can take the rug out, provided, of course, you've not accidentally put any of the benches on there, which we haven't, so it should look quite nice. So, there we go. Little look at that, and I'm going to carry on, finish this off, and we'll tour this place in just a moment. Voila! A little bit of decoration later, and we have a nice and more or less, junk decoration notwithstanding, finished medical centre, and this came out quite neatly, I think. I do like the shape of it, using the hex hab and having a couple of rooms off the back, worked quite nicely. Added a whole bunch of extra storage and scrappiness outside. Scrappy's not entirely the right word or vibe for Starfield, but I like having bits of junk and stuff that's built up around buildings, just because it makes it look like they've been here longer and the place is more lived in. Stuff that's not being used or is broken or whatever has just kind of been shoved in a corner out the way. It just makes the whole place look a bit more organic and interesting and less plain, so quite enjoy adding a few little bits like that around. breaks up the lines a little bit as well. I've got a few containers, storage boxes around, some plants, just basically grabbing lots of little random bits and pieces. There's a few chairs here and there, and the workbench back there, for example, which are there just sort of to create interaction once I add more crew members to the outpost, so they'll wander around and sort of interact with stuff, which should be quite cool. And a few bits of plants and stuff, just, again, for visual interest. Let's make our way up and in. My landing pad at the back there. And we'll take a little look around the inside. This outpost is steadily coming together. I'm quite pleased with it. If you do want to check it out, I'll link the playlist, other videos and stuff around somewhere. There are separate videos on each of the different sort of sections of the outpost. Quite happy overall. So, into the reception area. And first up, I've moved that desk a little bit to the left, so it's actually in the middle of the room. And it looks pretty good, I think, with a couple of plants next to it, and some rubber matting on the floor, just because rubber matting's kind of got the right vibe for the clinical space of a doctor's, infirmary, medical centre, etc., etc. Choose word you happen to prefer. A few little plants for, make it a little bit more welcoming. And they're also quite big, these planters, so they kind of fill up the space, break up textures a little bit without being over the top in this case. There's our little bathroom, switched out to the hydroponics one, so it's illuminated. Still not happy with bathroom options, but yeah, got to make do with what's available. Figure the wall monitor there's for calling people in. Although we don't really have a conventional doctor's office on here for actually sitting down and seeing a doctor. We've got a ward over here, and we've got the operating room, but I guess they'd have to see you in the operating room. Hopefully it doesn't need too much use as an OR. So you may notice this door is twice the size of the one to the bathroom, and a little bit different in that regard. If you've got another hab stuck directly to the side of this hex hab, at least, and I would guess other habs too, then you can change it out using the edit button to a much larger door, which works well to get gurneys through and stuff. So it was quite a nice little discovery that I didn't know was a thing. Got the ward on the go here. I thought about putting this as a 6-bed ward originally, but hopefully, firstly, they won't need that many, I hope. Although that may change, given what we've discovered recently in the main story. But also, just 3 beds just looked a little bit better with the space. It was kind of over the top, too much going on, really, with 6 in here. But here we've got space for spare chairs and places for the patients to keep their belongings and things, should they be required. And I put the partitions by the door just to kind of create at least a little bit of privacy from the entranceway, because we haven't actually got doors, which is weird, but kind of wish we did, but it is what it is for now. Who knows, they might get added on later on. Little coffee area out the back here for anybody working at the reception desk, or the doctors, or whatever. Fridge for the milk, I guess. And yeah, I'll add cups and coffee bags and stuff like that later on, but for now, looking okay. I do kind of like how that desk area has come out. Looking pretty solid, because that right vibe, I think. Yeah, these wide doors, I don't know if they're available with other combinations of habs, but using this green hex hab, it certainly allowed that double-sized door, and it looks really, really cool, I think. So here is our operating room, and it's hard to pick a favourite part of this little structure, but this is another strong contender. Got the gurney bed in the middle there, the medical trolleys around for whatever bits and pieces they need for operations. A couple of sinks and a scrubbing area in the corner, which you wouldn't normally have inside the OR, but, you know, space and video game-ness and stuff. And I think it comes together quite nicely. Whole load of, probably an excess of equipment really here for monitoring, but that's the idea. And it dresses up the walls a little bit more, which is cool. Keep track of whatever you need to in terms of the vitals of whoever the patient may be. A few extra bits and pieces around, spare diagnostic machine, as the research station as well, because that looks like it belongs in here quite nicely too. Little storage space there for any tools or jugs or whatever they might need in the course of their duties. And we've got a pharmacy station there as well for crafting any more drugs that you might need. A little medication. Maybe I should have put a chair in here, and then we actually could use this as a kind of place to see patients as well as operate. Who knows? Something to do later on, maybe. But yeah, all in all, this is a really quite simple structure with relatively simple decoration in it, but picking the right pieces and the kind of clinical sci-fi look kind of lends itself really well to a medical center, I think, or an infirmary, or whatever word we want to use. I really quite like the overall vibe of this. So I'm going to head outside because there's one more thing I do want to show you before we head off, which is quite fun. The sun's starting to set, so this place does look really quite nice in around about sunset, sunrise, which is really cool. Those particular times of day look pretty amazing in Starfield. We're out in the desert biome here, incidentally, if you couldn't tell. So there's a whole load of different ones that look pretty awesome on this planet as well. So yeah, a whole bunch of different sections to the outpost there, as I said before. If you want to check out the various videos, I'll link them up on the card in the top right corner. So do check that out. We'll head up to the top of the landing pad and take a little look around. As you can see, the rest of the outpost is slowly working its way over towards the landing pad. Need some ideas for what to sort of fill up some of these larger remaining gaps with, so that we can kind of make the whole thing feel a bit more cohesive and like a single item. I think maybe 2 more, maybe 3 structures. 2 more structures, I think, should do the job there and leave us with the pathway through the middle. So, I hope you folks enjoyed that one. If you did, please consider dropping subs and likes. I very much appreciate. Down below, as always, social media links, merch store, channel memberships, notification bell, all that good stuff. If you want to support the channel in that way, I really appreciate it. Massively, massively helps out. Huge thanks to everyone who's done all that. And if you get a chance, join us for live streams as well. We are, of course, playing through Starfield, really enjoying exploring the settled systems, and, of course, ongoing Fallout 76 content as well. So do check that out as well. But for now, thank you very much for watching. I look forward to speaking to you all very, very soon.